Okay, all right, where we go. There we go. Okay, everyone see my screen okay? See the presentation? Yeah, nice. Thank you. Okay, so just for those that are still coming in and joining, just a couple of house rules. Do please change your name just to your name and your venue name, just so that we know who you are if you're submitting any questions throughout this presentation. I also ask that you just remain on mute whilst I'm chatting away as well. There will be time for questions at the end, so we'll go through that then. But I am going to kick off. So yeah, a huge welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm very happy to be here and to kick off our Get Engagement Season Ready workshop series. We've got lots of workshops coming up over the next 2 weeks, so hopefully you can join a few. The topic that I'm going to be covering today is how understanding couple challenges can get you more bookings. So before I fully kick off, let's a little bit about me. So I'm Bethany Wright. I head up the community here at Bridebook Business. A bit about my background. I was born and bred in Manchester. I'm a very proud, stereotypical northerner. I love Oasis, chips and gravy, music in general. And I think most importantly is I genuinely have a love for people and helping general love for people and helping building communities. And that's what's kind of fueled my professional career. So over the last 12 years now, I've been working in the wedding and events industry. And I've built kind of a wealth of experience of knowledge through starting 12 years ago now as a part-time wedding coordinator. I've then worked in multiple wedding venues over the 12 years, and then I joined Bridebook back in 2017. So over the last 4 years, with the support of our amazing team here at Bridebook, we've been able to build the Google for wedding businesses. So we've got a marketplace now of over 20,000 UK wedding businesses that generates over 2 billion of revenue for the wedding industry every single year. So that's a bit about me. So looking at the session today. So I have 2 main goals for this session today. My first goal is for hopefully you to leave this session with a deeper understanding about the key challenges that couples face when making a decision on their venue. The second goal is for you to all hopefully leave today as well with some clear actionables that are going to help you get more bookings this engagement season. So they're my 2 goals. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be discussing these topics that you can see on the screen. I'm going to be using a lot of Bridebook data and industry insights to support these topics. And you can see there that I am going to be closing this workshop with a Q&A. So as I said, I do ask that you stay on mute just during while I'm chatting away, but do add your questions throughout, and I will definitely get to those at the end, and we can go through and have a chat there. So let's get started. So starting with 2022, you know, I'm going to say it's been a bit of a shit show. I think we can all agree with that. 2020 has been hard, both on a, heavenly personal level and of course for the industry as a whole. We've had mixed messages coming from the government. We've had a lack of guidance, clarity, financial support. The CMA have undermined us on multiple occasions, which has led to so many difficult conversations and frustrated contracts with couples. Heartbreakingly, we've lost businesses on the way, businesses that were previously really viable and profitable businesses have sadly been lost to this disease. And now the existing tiering system still remains confusing, it's still highly restricting, and we still don't have a fully clear roadmap out of this mess. And, you know, I've put the stat here at the top, 95% of the weddings that should have happened this year have been lost. So it's been such a difficult year. So I don't know about you, but my head's pretty much been like this for the entire year, just a bit of a muddled mess. You know, it's been hard, and we all know and understand that. But I am never one to dwell too much on the negativity. And I'm really glad and happy to say that there is finally some light at the end of this tunnel. So yesterday was a huge day for the UK, for the world, and for our industry. You know, yesterday we saw that the UK became the first country in the world to approve the COVID vaccine, and distribution is going to be starting as early as next week. We also saw yesterday the return of the 15-person wedding. You know, still not obviously what we're looking for, but weddings are able to restart again. And 2 weeks ago, we saw the government debate weddings. So we were actually finally part of that conversation and part of the narrative there. And although the outcomes immediately didn't look too promising, what we have seen is that the UK Wedding Task Force has now been introduced, and they're going to be giving an update on Friday in regards to what kind of the future for our industry looks like, both immediately and hopefully a bit more long term. So fingers crossed, we are going to kind of see that roadmap. So those two updates give us some confidence. You know, I'm not going to say we're near the finish line just yet. We've still got a few hard months ahead, but we are getting closer to a more kind of positive time. But the two areas that I'd like to just highlight here are couple confidence and engagement season. So in November, Bridebook ran a survey, and we wanted to gain insight into the impact that lockdown 2.0 has had on couples' wedding planning decisions. What we found brilliantly is that couples' decisions have not been dramatically swayed by their current circumstances in lockdown. So you can see here the stats on my screen are that couples have said that their budgets are going to remain the same, their guest numbers are going to remain the same, and overall their plans are going to remain the same. So when we ask them, like, when you're looking to plan your wedding for the future, you know, what kind of wedding do you want? They've all said that their plans that they had in their head are going to remain the same. And then when we asked specifically when couples believe that meaningful weddings will return, they said that they expect those weddings to be back fully by the end of 2021. So what this means is that the couple's perspective is actually positive, specifically when looking to future weddings. And this gives us real potential for engagement season 2021. So what does this mean kind of specifically for 2021? So just for clarity, engagement season is the period between the 25th of December to the 14th of February. 40% of the year's engagements happen in this time. And what we see from Bridebook data is that over a third of all couple inquiries are sent within this 51 days. So for any, you know, wedding venue, wedding business, this is a huge opportunity for you in terms of your marketing strategy, getting inquiries through the door and converting those inquiries to bookings. But what Bridebook predicts this year is that this could be the biggest engagement season that we've seen yet. And the reason why we say this is because of the stats that I just walked you through, but also because of a proof point that we actually read in the Times that came out last week. So I'm just going to talk you through this article a little bit. So last week, an article was published by Philip Aldrich, and he's at the Times. And the article was titled, "The Roaring Twenties May Be About to Get a Modern Post-Pandemic Sequel." Now, I don't know if anyone was around in the Roaring Twenties. I wasn't myself. But essentially, the Roaring Twenties was brought about by the end of the Spanish flu. and the end of the war. And it was a real celebration of health, of freedom, and of social reintroduction to the day-to-day lives of people kind of living through this difficult time. So if we kind of look at, you know, this year, the year that we've just had, we've all been trapped inside, been pretty miserable, unable to see our friends and family, not commuting, not socializing, and hardly spending any money, many of us. We've seen a huge drop in the economy. Our industry's obviously been impacted by that heavily. And, you know, the old saying goes, what goes up must come down, but also what goes down must come up. So the phase that we're in now, you know, people's mindsets is very much in that phase of like the initial kind of fear around COVID has dissipated. It's going down quite heavily. And yesterday's vaccine announcement is going to remove a lot more of that COVID fear. You know, it's a real positive looking forward for the world. So if we see that history does repeat itself, what we're hopefully going to see is this huge social boom like never before. As I said, people have been stuck inside, they've been bored. And, you know, if history in the shape of the 1920s has told us that when that flu pandemic, when the war came to an end, that people were desperate to go outside and have a good time, we're hopefully going to see history repeat itself and see that kind of social boom. And, you know, what's a better place to celebrate that, to be with your family and friends than at a wedding, and to be able to plan something looking forward that's going to really reunite and bring together your family. So that paired with the couple's decision statistics that I just walked you through a minute ago, gives us a whole lot of confidence that this engagement season is going to be a big one. Couples will get engaged during that time. They do want the wedding that they originally dreamed of, if not an even better one. And they won't be changing their minds on that. So yeah, some real positives in terms of this engagement season, and it holds a huge potential for us as wedding professionals. So I'm just gonna pause there and grab a drink. So, understanding couple challenges. So this is the topic, this is why you're here today. So in order to first understand, you know, the challenges that they face, we have to also think about who is that couple of today that we're looking to target. So the average age for a wedding couple on Bridebook is between 26 and 34. What that means is that they're millennial aged couples. So millennials, stereotypically, they grew up with technology, they're on the move and are heavily reliant on phones. They work hard and focus on building a career and a future, so they have money in the bank. They have short attention spans generally. They demand a really high customer service value. They use reviews to make every decision. And they work together and have kind of a wide network of friends available to them. I'm allowed to say all these things because, you know, I'm a millennial. We are a bit of a pain in the arse. And actually, I'm one of your target audiences. So I got engaged earlier this year, and I've actually just gone through this wedding purchasing process myself. So I'm going to talk about myself in this world of millennials as we go through the next few slides. But what I think we can take away from this in terms of the positives are that in understanding the high level traits of those that you're targeting, you can gain a deeper understanding of their main challenges and the steps that you can take in order to support the couples that are going to be getting engaged over engagement season.
Beth, I don't know if you can hear me, but your slides are off the screen.
Oh.
Yeah, we can only see half your slides. Sorry, I did try messaging you. That's it. Brilliant.
Is that better?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, can you see my notes as well? No.
No.
No. Okay. Sorry about that. Is that better now? Yeah,
it's all good.
Nice, thank you. Cool. So back on it. So the 5 challenges that I'm going to highlight today, these are the challenges that came from our UK Wedding Report 2020. So these are the challenges that couples have told us that they struggle with during their venue purchasing process. So what I'm going to do is walk us through each of these in turn. So firstly, staying within budget. Couples have a budget, but they're savvy with their budget. They will cut corners and they will find alternatives if they need to. But you can help them with a few simple steps which will help kind of drive those sales through to you. So firstly, and most importantly, is showcasing your pricing on Bridebook or on your website or wherever you're able to do so. So at Bridebook, we still see that the filter by price filter when you're on search is the most used filter on Bridebook. Couples are immediately looking to remove businesses from their search results who are not showing their pricing because they deem that a waste of their time. They're not able to gather the information about their budget from the first point. And that really kind of sets the tone essentially for the type of journey that they're going to have. So make sure that you're showcasing your pricing where you're possible to do so. Next, be confident and know your worth. You know, as venue professionals now more than ever, what goes into organising a wedding at your venue. You know, each part of that journey has a cost for you as a business. So make sure that you're explaining those costs fully from the start. And be honest about what that pricing reflects and kind of why it is that you cost what you do, and be confident with that because you know your worth. And also be open and transparent. Don't have any hidden costings. Don't kind of hide things away from your overall pricing. Couples will find them out. You know, if they've put the deposit down and then suddenly it's like, oh, we also charge X for dessert, for example, they will find that out, and that could tarnish the relationship that you have. And lastly, on this one, offered varying pricing where you're able to do so. So we know that we have off-peak and on-peak weekdays, months, and weekends. So do have a look at your kind of pricing there and think about the potential cost savings and cost potential for you as a business and for the couple. So I'm going to put myself as an example here. So I actually booked my venue and I decided to go for a Thursday in September because that actually did save me around £4,000, which was a huge saving for us, and we were able to choose the wedding venue that we wanted. So it does work, and couples are much more open now to moving their weddings from a weekend day to a weekday in order to get a saving if they're able to do so. So your action here is review your 2022 and beyond pricing. You know, are you currently presenting your pricing in a clear, transparent way? Are you presenting your pricing from the get-go? And if not, why not? And really kind of question yourself on that. I also highly recommend attending Hamish's pricing strategy workshop, which is happening next Thursday. He's going to be using his heads or insights and his economic background in order to support businesses in setting their pricing as well. So next we have decision making. So when a couple gets engaged, the majority of them have hopefully never planned a wedding before, potentially, but they probably haven't even planned an event before. This is a completely new world to them. It's totally foreign. And what they're looking for is kind of support and proof to help them make decisions for their wedding, specifically because there's a lot of money that goes into a wedding. So making these decisions is a big purchase. So they want that visual proof. They want the social proof to to support their decisions. So couples are looking at previous couples' experiences as that validation point. And we at Bridebook say that reviews are your best friend. Collecting and showcasing your reviews is the easiest way for you to give couple confidence. And luckily, quite easy, hopefully, to collect reviews as well. So a statistic from the UK Wedding Report showed that 62% of couples said reviews are the most important factor when making a decision to send an inquiry. This actually overtook word of mouth, which is kind of huge in terms of supporting that view that millennials do rely on reviews and are looking to these, and most couples are happy to write them. Now, I understand that this year's, it's been difficult to collect reviews, so I recommend getting a process set up in place for all your future reviews, but also look at kind of past couples that haven't ever sent you one. Look at your suppliers and the team of support that you have there, and if you've had like good relationship with the existing couples that you've had during this difficult time and you've been able to support them and you know that they would share a good review with you, do ask them as well. So next is venue chasing. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's hard enough as it is to get a couple on the phone or to respond to you in an email. Trust us, we know. But couples on the other side are actually having these difficulties too. And the problem is that your schedules aren't aligned. So they plan at inconvenient times, they plan in the evening, they plan at weekends, and you on a day-to-day have a business to run and you've got probably 100 of the existing clients that you need to support with as well. So what we recommend that you do is kind of try to work to the couple's needs. So you need to kind of be working with them, not against them, and actually just putting it in a really simple terms. If you just ask the right questions from the start of your journey, this will allow you to have really open and honest conversations from the start and throughout. And what you'll be able to do by asking questions is you'll be able to set those expectations from the start and alleviate pressure for yourselves. So I put a few examples of questions here on the slide. So when would they prefer to be contacted? Really simple, but it allows you to kind of set those parameters. Are there any family members that they want to include in communication as well? Do they know and understand the payment structure? Just really kind of simple questions that will help you kind of get an understanding of what those couples' expectations are from you, and you can also set expectations for them as well. And I've just put here as well, remember that a sale isn't a sale from the time they put the money, put that deposit down. It's from that first inquiry, and you are selling from that moment. So just bear that in mind as well. Like, make sure that you're working with the couple and not against them. So next is managing stress. We know that planning a wedding is difficult. It's by far one of the most stressful experiences that they're going to go through. Every couple is going to have a different experience. As I said, they've not probably done this experience before, so they really do kind of need a helping hand. They need that guide to support them. Even myself, like when I got engaged, suddenly felt like overwhelmed and completely kind of baffled all of a sudden. And I'd say that I know quite a lot about the industry by this point, but even I was kind of overwhelmed and stressed by it. So one of your superpowers as a wedding professional is actually the knowledge that you have about this industry, about weddings, about how everything runs, and about kind of what tools a couple can use. So again, just kind of making sure that you're asking throughout, do you fully understand the process? Is there any questions that you're not sure on? Anything that isn't clear? Anything that you just have no idea about when it comes to wedding planning? Making sure that you're being that support for them and using your knowledge, which is your superpower, to help them. And I've said here as well, Bridebook's a great tool for couples to use because it helps them get organized, stay on track. So not only will it help them, but hopefully it'll help you as well, because they'll have a bit more knowledge when they come to your door. And then lastly, so tackling COVID. So as I said, these COVID perceptions are improving. Couples are looking forward. They are looking to plan their wedding that they want, but COVID is still here. I'm definitely not saying that suddenly we're going to do a magic wand and it's going to go away. So actually looking to tackle COVID concerns head on is going to help you get bookings. So be empathetic, be understanding, ask them. Again, I'm going to go back to the questions thing. Ask them questions at the start, because you need to understand what type of journey they've already had. So have they been engaged for a week, or have they been engaged for 2 months and they've just not been confident in starting this process? What are their concerns about COVID in regards to their wedding? Do they have any concerns? Do they have family members? An important one as well is, are they able to visit you? So when you respond to that inquiry, you want to invite them to a show around to come and see their venue, but they might still not be comfortable to do that. So showing that understanding and empathy to the situation that they find themselves in is going to help you, because they'll know that they can look to you for that support. Then social distance viewings. So the government ruling does allow for social distance viewings. The guidelines are still slightly muddled, but couples, as I say, may still not be fully confident in coming to meet you and having that face-to-face interaction. So video technology allows you to open your doors to them without actually stepping foot in your venue. Bridebook statistics show that 63% of venues that have hosted a live tour have got a booking. And I'm going to use myself again. I actually booked my venue doing a live tour. So I don't know if they're on here today, potentially, but I've booked with Hidden River Cabins, which is in Carlisle. And I wasn't able to get from London to Carlisle to see the venue, but me and my partner really wanted to book our venue this year. And I asked them to do a live tour, which they'd not done before. So I was their first live tour. It went brilliantly. And we made a decision to book our venue. And actually, that was something that I personally had said that I wouldn't do before. But they do work, and so many venues across the country are seeing success from videos. So if you don't have any type of video strategy currently, I highly recommend having a think about it. Have a chat with your venue consultant here at Bridebook, because we can help you kind of design that video strategy if it's something that you're concerned about. And we also have a partnership currently with a company that does 360 tours, where we can give you £100 off as well. So that's hopefully a bonus. So do please kind of reach out to us if you want to chat about that more. And lastly, giving booking confidence. So I know that many of you have had kind of conversations with couples regarding those concerns about bookings, and a couple of simple things that you can do straight off the bat to give booking confidence are, firstly, reviewing your T's and C's. So make sure that they're working for you as a business and make sure that they're fair. Explain what's included in your offering, give them that clear breakdown of the payment plan, and just make sure there's clarity there from the start, that your terms and conditions are clear. They show that breakdown of what is included in each of the costings, so that kind of gives them that confidence there. And secondly, address the elephant in the room. COVID is still here. It's hopefully not here for long now, but don't shy away from that conversation. Give confidence in the purchase and talk through the what ifs. What if this does happen? If you go into the conversation saying, this is what happens if this happens, it just means that couples are kind of reassured. They know that you're thinking about them. They know you've used your past experience, which has worked well. And those kind of positives will shine through overall. So I'm just going to have a quick drink. So bringing that all together, as I said right at the start, it's been a really, really tough year. The hardest we've seen in the industry, but we are coming to an end in the near future. The couple confidence is there. Couples are looking to plan and organise the wedding that they dreamed of. So this engagement season holds huge potential for you as a wedding professional. So by understanding the couple's challenges, you will be able to get more bookings. So just to highlight a few of the areas we discussed, so make sure you're helping them to stay on track with their budget and that you're being transparent in your pricing. Collect and showcase reviews to help couples make informed decisions. Ask the right question, set those standards, make sure that you're working with each other, not against each other. Make sure that you're sharing your knowledge. It is your superpower, I promise. So make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to share that with the couple. And if you want to, recommend Bridebook. And have empathy in this situation and confidence kind of in your terms and conditions, in your bookings, and in your kind of processes overall. And last but by no means least, Bridebook is here to help you as well. We have 2 in 3 couples planning with Bridebook. We were voted and featured by Apple as their #1 favorite app for 2019. We have premium tools available as well by Venue Pro. So these tools gives you more exposure, the ability to be proactive and target the right couples, and give you confidence in terms of the insights, just like these that I've shared with you today, to make informed decisions about your marketing. And that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to go through your questions. So thank you for sharing those throughout. Apologies again for the slides issues at the start there. Hopefully the messages came across. So I'm going to go. Joanna, thank you for your congratulations. Okay, so while it's in my head, I wanted to ask a few questions about Q&A section. Guiding reviews, found it rather tricky to get couples to write reviews after they've departed. We have really personal relationships with couples. Yeah, great question. I think so. The ways in which we've seen kind of review collection to be really successful is having a bit of a like stepped email process in place and actually not leaving it too long after the wedding to ask for that review. So when a couple gets married, they're pretty buzzy, afterwards. They're on that high and they want to talk about it with as many people as possible. So what I would recommend is kind of keeping that time period quite short, maybe 1 to 2 weeks when you ask for the review, and do follow up on it as well after a few weeks if they don't reply. And then in terms of any photographers as well, I think if you're accepting reviews from suppliers, be willing to share that on your social media channels, and kind of from that photographer as well, because that then gives you promotion in terms of a great review for yourselves, and you're also sharing the photographer and their experience with you as well, so it kind of amplifies on both sides. Next, Paula.
Hello, sorry to interrupt. Please, can you read the question out?
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, Paula's just asked me if I can share the presentation. I will do that, absolutely. Is there any indication that couples are looking for smaller, more intimate weddings rather than larger ones? Great question. We're seeing a bit of a balance. So the statistics that I went through are kind of looking towards those 2022, 2023 bookings. We are seeing a slight kind of drop in terms of guest numbers, but not dramatically. What I would recommend in terms of your marketing strategy is looking to kind of promote both sides of the coin in terms of your big wedding experiences, dependent on your capacity as a venue, but also do show that you are able to do more intimate weddings as well, so that you can potentially capture some 2021 market, 2021 bookings, in addition to kind of the bigger ones looking to 2022 and 2023. So I would just show that variety in terms of your marketing materials. Then, a couple of presentation ones. Can you develop an API from Hockwald Hall? This has actually been asked a few times. It's something that our developers are looking into. Is it an API for any specifics, or is it kind of an API for inquiry management? I don't know who's here from Hockwald, if they're still here.
Just to speed up and streamline the process of inquiries coming through, because obviously if it comes in the middle of the night, we've got to then wait till the morning.
Yeah, of course. So in terms of speeding up, so one thing that we have launched and introduced is an inquiry widget. So the inquiry widget, you're now able to take the code and put it directly onto your website so that your inquiries from your website stream through into there as well. So hopefully that helps in terms of managing both your website and your Bridebook inquiries. And another thing that we're going to introduce soon is you being able to upload Excel sheets into your inquiries manager, so you can actually manage all of your inquiries in one place, and we'll then support that with kind of future statistics as well. In terms of kind of if an inquiry comes in late at night and then in the morning, I think as long as you're responding to that inquiry within 24 hours, you're going to be doing well. You know, the less of the time, the better, because you're able to be reactive for that couple. But my recommendation would always be within 24 hours. Next is from Helen at Hayne House. Do you think it's important to display prices on your website? I really do think it's important. As I said at the start, our most used filter on Bridebook is filter by price. So if you don't have pricing on Bridebook, you will lose the potential of that inquiry straight away. In terms of your pricing on your website, again, if couples have found you on Google, they've come onto your website, the first thing they're going to look at is price, because it's the first thing that you have to think about when you're going through this planning process. How much money have I got available to me? How does that work in terms of the split between different suppliers? So I would highly recommend you add pricing to your website and to Bridebook. Catherine, regarding reviews, have you any advice for new venues such as us who haven't had any weddings yet? Another great question. So with if you're a brand new venue, the way that I would look for you to kind of gather social proof is by inviting people to the venue, and be it suppliers, recommended suppliers, be it potential couples that are already in your book, so that you can get those people through the door. Now, it doesn't need to necessarily be a review about the wedding experience specifically. It can be about the experience that you provide during a show round or to wedding suppliers. So I know, you know, the wedding reviews are the like most important ones, but I think by getting reviews from people in terms of an experience, in terms of how your venue looks, you as a team, and the experience that you provide to people also can support you in terms of giving confidence to couples. Alice, do you charge for couples to join Bridebook? We don't currently, no. It's something that we are kind of looking into for the future, but at this stage we don't charge couples now. And then, so Joe from Berwick Lodge, does Bridebook have the ability to ask couples how they would prefer to be contacted, so that when an inquiry goes to the venues, they can contact them in the preferred way? We don't have that yet. We have phone and we have email, but that's a really great one. And as I said, we are kind of currently working on our inquiry manager and how we can build that out. So I will definitely feed that back to the tech team so we can look to that, because I think that's a great one in the sense of like by phone, what time, who. Yeah, I think that's a really great one. So thanks, Joe. Then Catherine, what are the key factors that affect a listing ranking in search positioning on Bridebook? Our search algorithm is powered by, firstly, the information that you add to your profile, and secondly, by your response score. So in terms of your profile information, you've got multiple different sections on there, and the more information that you add to your profile, the higher you appear in search results on Bridebook. And then in terms of response score, that's also then paired with the algorithm overall. So if you're responding to your inquiries within 48 hours, we also kind of reward that as well. In addition, we also have Venue Pro. So if you're a Venue Pro member, you are prioritized above novice venues in search. Okay, that's all the questions. Any others that anyone wants to shout out? No? Okay, fab. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I really hope you found it beneficial and actionable. Yeah, thank you so much for attending. As I said at the start, we do have a number of other workshops coming up over the next couple of weeks. So do keep an eye out on your emails for those, and hopefully you can send those as well. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, I'll check whether those two emails have gone, and we'll see what we come back with after you send that email. It's pretty comprehensive, isn't it? No, what I'm saying is it's pretty comprehensive that we are doing what we